Two. Okay, I'm intrigued. Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again today for another Gencon Bonanza Explosion Blog coverage brought to you by our amazing Kickstarter backers and some amazing publishers like Medieval Lords, who has Black Souls coming out later this year, Tasty Minstrel Games, who we absolutely adore, and then Bleem Games, who has Dark Mages, a re-implementation of that coming out later this year. But right now, we are at the Chip Theory Games booth with Jacob, and we're about to learn about Triplock. So what is Triplock?
Hello friends, Triplock is our latest release from Chip Theory Games here, and it is a game of lock-picking set in the corrupt city of New London. And it's a 1 to 2 player game in which you are trying to manipulate a lock and sequence the mechanisms of the lock to your favor and to your opponent's disfavor. So the game can be 1 or 2 player. In the base game here, there are 6 characters that you can play as, and they're optional. You don't have to play with characters, but they have their own unique little skills that they can use. Additionally, there are 4 scenarios that you can play solo and cooperatively. But the main game, which is limitless in its play, is a 1 versus 1 duel. So the way that this plays out is the game is set up with this lock mechanism here, represented by this. By the way, I should mention that this is what comes in the base game. This is the deluxe playmat, which is available for pre-order on our site right now. But these are the mechanisms, and this is where the core of the game kind of happens. So each of these mechanisms are kind of an inverse relationship. So throughout the course of the game, you're going to discover what some of these mechanisms are. And if I know that this is a keypad, I know that the opposite side is a key. And if this, I learn, is a spring, I know that the opposite side is a gear. So it does matter, of course, which side is actually face up at the time, because what you're trying to do is arrange and sequence these in a way that matches up with your diagram. So here's a diagram card, and at the beginning of the game, each player draws one of these cards, and there's 4 orientations to kind of how this works. And so you pick one of the orientations, and that represents the goal you're trying to accomplish at that point in time. So let's say we had this goal set. It's very simple, easy to achieve. All I'm trying to do is get a keypad in the lefternmost slot of the visible mechanisms. If I do that, I achieve this goal, and I do what it says. The game is won by getting 10 points. You can see this one is much more challenging, and it's 3 things in a certain sequence, and I will get 5 points if I achieve that goal. Again, first to 10 points wins, or first to achieve 5 diagrams of any type. These are not the only type of diagrams. There are also other ways to score points. Let's see if we can find a trap. These devious guys allow you to thwart your opponent. Thank you, Akbar.
Now I have a quick question while you're looking for that.
Yeah.
Is this photography or is this artwork here?
I believe it is Photoshop manipulated photography.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident of that. Wow, where are the traps? Here's one. So these are face down to your opponent normally, and so nope, this wasn't a trap. I saw the word trip and thought it was a trap. Here's we go. So this is a trap, as indicated by the large word that says trap. This allows you to, if it's triggered, you gain points, which is good, and you often do get to draw another diagram and things like that. So over the course of the game, I'm going to have these face down. This trap will trigger if the opponent disarms a failsafe. So I may have this face down, and throughout the course of the game, my opponent may disarm one of these failsafes. Well, this trap will trigger, and I'll gain 1 point, which is great. So on your turn, play is very simple. You do 2 things. I'm going to set these back here. We would each have our own diagram, and you choose yours and you set it towards the top to indicate that that's what you're doing. On your turn, you get one of these skill beads and you decide what to do with it. You can either activate your character's ability for that turn, or you can set it on one of these tracks. This is a point track. If I set it on this track, it's now set, and each turn of mine that goes by, this is going to tick up 1. When this reaches the end, I actually gain plus 2 points, which is great. So that's a way to passively gain points over time. Alternatively, I can place this on the action meter, it's easier to achieve. It's faster. And when I do that, I get an extra action for the turn, which can be very strong because when you're trying to arrange things in a certain way, being able to do 2 things in a row can be very, very powerful. Lastly, I can do this, which allows me to reset the progress of whatever my opponent is currently dealing with. So they may be on the cusp of getting +2 points, and I just say, nope. So, then after you've done that, you roll the dice. And these dice, there are 6 different actions that can take place. You can either accept what the dice gave you and perform both actions, or you can hate what the dice gave you, forget about the dice, and do one action of your choice. And the game kind of plays out by removing these fail-safes, swapping positions of the mechanisms on the board, revealing opponents' diagrams and manipulating opponents' diagrams. In fact, I can rotate your diagram, so you may have thought that you were going for one goal and suddenly you're going for a totally different goal. You can rotate your own goals, so it's kind of a game, I like to think of it as how much mental burden can you bear. It's a very memory-intensive game, so hence I'm terrible at it. Yeah, that's kind of a showcase of Triplock. Excellent game.
And just to make sure I'm getting this, everything you see here is coming in the base game except for this outside part, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
All right, very cool.
And again, this is available for pre-order from our site. $20, I believe.
All right, that is Triplock from Chip Theory Games. It looks like it might be your cup of tea. Be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. And in the comments below, let me know, triggered, what gets you triggered?
Oh, man. Sleep?
Sleep? For me personally...
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, lack of sleep, I'm assuming. For me personally, it's the people that walk the wrong way down hallways, and that just annoys the living crap out of me. Society knows you need to walk on a certain side of the hallway, and everybody walks on the other side. So what I do is when I walk with my kid and I see somebody walking on the wrong side of the hallway and they're clearly in our way, just within earshot, after we pass them, I say, buddy, make sure you always walk on the right side of the hallway so society doesn't fall. But I make sure it's just loud enough so they can hear me. Just a little, Well, let me know. What triggers you? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.